Geometry Dash. A game that most, if not all of you, are familiar with. A game that, if you were a 2010 kid, would remember seeing on the App Store just as a kid and playing it with your friends. A game that is so iconic that everyone should know it by now. But more recently here on GameWorks Studios, we noticed a little something peculiar. We noticed that Geometry Dash shares a little bit of a similarity with two other games, Beat Saber and Just Shapes and Beats. These three games are all kind of similar with all three having squares and all three having you go along to the sound of music, which we can't show here because of copyright issues.
Now, before we jump into this video, ironically, the person who deserves the shout out of this video is Nene22 Gaming. He found the change in the last video, so shout out to him. And I say ironically because we're talking about Geometry Dash, right? And Nene22 Gaming does all Geometry Dash. His entire channel is Geometry Dash. So if you guys want to check out some awesome Geometry Dash videos, he does epic, hard levels. He completes them all. So if you guys want to check it out, link in the description, Nene22 Gaming.
But yes, today we are going to be doing a sort of game theory episode. We are only going to be doing this one episode. It's going to be just a one-off. We noticed a similarity and we had to share it with you guys. But if you do want more episodes of like more game theory episodes from us, then please comment down below. But if we don't do any more and you want to see more game theory episodes, definitely check out one of our friends, Fireheart2006. He also started up his own sort of game theory series with a variety of different games, which is really worth checking out. So, link will be in the description for that. But yeah, today's theory, we are going to be saying how Geometry Dash, Just Shapes and Beats, and Beat Saber are all in the same sort of game universe, or what we like to call the Squareverse. I know, kind of cringy, but they all involve squares, so let's get into it. So first, before the theory starts, you guys most likely need to understand the stories between each of these games. Let's start off with Beat Saber. It's a pretty simple VR game, and there's not really much to it. All you have to do is listen to music, and as the music is playing, all you have to do is hit the squares with your quote-unquote lightsabers and try to chop them up before they pass you and you lose points. There are a couple of obstacles such as landmines, or technically air mines, and walls.
And next up is Geometry Dash. In Geometry Dash, the basic idea of the game is you're a square. You're trying to jump over these spikes, these walls. You go upside down, you go in ships and stuff. You have to try to complete the entire level without hitting the spikes.
Yes, and the last game is probably the most complex of the three, Just Shapes and Beats. Fair warning, there are spoilers to the game since the game does have a story mode, so if you want to experience it all for yourself, then exit the video now. You have been warned. So the story behind Just Shapes and Beats is you play as this blue square in this sort of nice, peaceful world. You've got friends like a big cube, the little helicopter, and the three triangles, making up the tree of life. And in the sort of prologue, you go around, you kind of explore the world at first, but then eventually run into this cave where you see this plant-looking thing. The plant then gets stabbed by one of the triangles, and it is revealed that this plant is not an ordinary plant, but is the quote-unquote boss, or as we like to call it, the corrupted circle. This circle then starts corrupting everything it touches and eventually makes its way to the Tree of Life and rips it out from its roots. It then buries it into a mountain and corrupts the entire world around you. The whole objective of the game is to try to free your friends from corruption and to stop the boss and free the Tree of Life. Eventually, in the end of the game, you kill the boss, and you get to end. It seems like a happy ending. So now that you know the story of each three games, we can now officially dive into the theory. What we believe to be the beginning of this sort of story is Just Shapes and Beats. As you already know from us telling you a few seconds ago, You play as a blue square who tries to save yourself, and your world, and your friends from the corrupted circle. In the end, it seems like a nice, peaceful ending, and everyone, and just kind of those happy game endings, until you get to the end, where you see this very video. This shows that it's not really a happy ending after all. The corrupted circle, even though you believe you've already killed them, is still alive. And for our theory to work, we believe that this corrupted circle overthrows your entire planet and forces you to evacuate and find another habitable planet apart from that to get away from the corrupted circle.
Next is Geometry Dash. Geometry Dash is connected to this because we think that as you're playing as the square race, each level is like a planet, and they have to find a suitable planet to be safe from the corrupted circle. And they're adapted, like on their home planet, to go through beats and music. So that's why in Geometry Dash, there's beats right as you jump over the spike or something like that. And as they pass through each level, they find, this home is not good enough, so we gotta go to the next level, and soon the next, and then the next.
Yes, some seem peaceful at first, but then eventually it gets worse and worse, and eventually they encounter other bosses as well. And the last game in this sort of square verse, as we like to call it here, is Beat Saber. After all of the square race has finally found a suitable planet for them to live on. But little do they know, it's a bit more dangerous than the rest combined. This planet here is what we theorize to be a sort of futuristic planet that has all sorts of things, like so many futuristic lights, which is funny because it's played on a very futuristic device, the VR headset, with the one and only lightsabers. And you might already get where this is going. We believe that this planet's government is interpreting their stay the wrong way, as most people probably would when seeing an alien race, would think they're trying to overthrow the planet and invade, which they have completely wrong. And so this is where the twist is. And so in Beat Saber, instead of playing the victim cubes and squares, you play the villain. The person who's been hired by the government to slay as many cubes as you can, and after discovering that they have instincts to go along to the beat of music, use that to your advantage. And you might think to yourself, but what if you don't want to kill off the alien race? Well then, terminated by the government. Sent for the next person to take your place until until their quote-unquote alien invasion is no longer a threat. But to end this theory out on a happier note instead of a darker one, we're just going to say for the sake of this theory that the government eventually learns that the squares are not a threat to their planet at all, and even invite them to stay so that they can live peacefully. Unless there's another square game where you go along to the sound of beats, then that'll change up the story a bit.
Or we could just be completely wrong.
Yeah, we could just be completely wrong. This is only a theory after all.
And if you guys have any additions to that theory or theories of your own, please comment down below. And if you guys enjoyed us, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and see you guys in the next video.
Thank you so much for joining us at Gamebrick Studios. Goodbye.
Bye.